Friends, I want to be direct with you. You're facing challenges right now. Whether it's the weight of financial stress, the suffocating grip of self-doubt, or the constant blows of a world that seems to throw one thing after another at you, it feels like everything is working against you. The wind is in your face. The ground beneath your feet feels shaky. It's a feeling of being perpetually out of control, a sense that you are merely a passenger in a car that is careening toward an unknown destination. But I'm here to tell you something that is not just a hard truth, but a liberating one. You can overcome it all. The storm outside, the circumstances, the problems, the pressures is not the real battle. It is merely a reflection of the war being waged on a much more crucial, much more sacred battlefield. That battlefield is your mind. The true conflict is not with your boss, your bills, or your past. The true conflict is with the inner voice that whispers, "I can't." It is with the unseen forces of fear and doubt that paralyze you at the very moment you need to act. It is a war against your own weakness, your own tendency to choose comfort over growth, to choose surrender over struggle. I've spent a lifetime studying the people who win this war, the leaders, the innovators, the champions. And I can tell you this, they are not born with a special shield. They are not immune to the storm. They simply made a choice that most people never make. They decided to train. They decided to treat their mind not as a fragile vessel to be protected, but as the most powerful tool in the universe, a weapon to be sharpened, a fortress to be built. Today, we're not just going to talk about a better life. We are going to talk about the very architecture of a powerful mind. I am going to show you how to take control of your thoughts, to develop the mental strength to push through pain, and to become truly unstoppable. This is not some feel-good motivational fluff. This is not about temporary boosts of adrenaline that fade by tomorrow. This is about real, practical, and profound advice that you can start using today. This is a philosophical blueprint for turning your internal chaos into an unconquerable fortress. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. You don't have to wait for things to get easier. You can start building your mental strength right now. This is a journey of self-creation, where every thought is a brick, every discipline is an act of will, and every challenge is an opportunity to forge a new, stronger version of yourself. This is your life's greatest work. This is where you begin your journey to becoming unbreakable. Friends, let's begin with a fundamental truth that will change everything you think you know about success, about failure, and about the very course of your life. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is your mind. That's it. It's not your circumstances. It's not the economy. It's not other people. It's not the past. The singular, most powerful force in your universe is your mind. And let me tell you this. If you don't learn to control it, life will, and it will do so without a single moment of your consent. You wake up every day with a choice, win or lose, fight or surrender, take control or be controlled. And that choice, it happens right here on the battlefield of your mind before you ever take a single step. The moment your alarm clock goes off, the moment you open your eyes, the moment you feel that first wave of doubt or hesitation, that's when the war begins. Most people don't even realize they're losing the battle before it starts. They let their thoughts run wild like an untamed army. They let fear creep in like a silent saboteur. They let doubt hold them back like an invisible chain, and before they know it, they've given up on themselves before they ever even try. They say things like, "I'm not good enough. I can't do this. It's too hard." You know what that is? That's weakness. That's surrender. That's a concession of defeat to an enemy that lives entirely within your own head. And if you allow those thoughts to control you, you will never, ever win. You have to understand this. Your mind is a warrior's greatest weapon, or it is a fool's worst enemy. It will push you forward, or it will keep you stuck. It will lift you up to heights you've only dreamed of, or it will tear you down with relentless cruelty. And the difference between those who succeed and those who fail isn't talent, it isn't luck, it's mindset. It's the ability to take control of your own thoughts and make them work for you instead of against you. If you don't train your mind, it will default to weakness. That's the hard truth. Your mind, in its most primal, untrained state, will always choose comfort over growth. It will always look for the easy way out, the path of least resistance. That's why most people quit when things get tough. That's why they make excuses instead of taking action. That's why they settle for less than they're capable of, because they never put in the work to build a strong mind. But let me tell you something that will set you free. Mental strength is not something you're born with. It's something you build, just like a muscle. It grows with effort. It gets stronger every time you push through discomfort, every time you refuse to quit, every time you silence the voice in your head that says, I can't. The first step, the single most powerful weapon you can wield on this battlefield is awareness. Pay attention to the way you talk to yourself. Catch the negative thoughts before they take over. When you hear yourself say, I'm not good enough, stop right there. Ask yourself, who told me that? Because it sure as hell wasn't the truth. When you catch yourself saying, I can't do this, challenge it. Say, why not? And then go prove yourself wrong. You have to become your own coach, your own drill sergeant, your own relentless motivator. You have to train yourself to think differently. When life gets hard, don't break, push back. When fear tries to stop you, don't run, face it. When you feel like quitting, remind yourself why you started. Because every time you choose strength over weakness, you win a little battle in your mind. And those little battles, they add up. They accumulate. They turn you into someone who simply refuses to break. You think the strongest people in the world don't struggle? You think they don't have doubts, fears, and bad days? Of course they do. But you know what they don't do? They don't let those feelings control them. They don't let weakness win. They make a choice every single day to keep going no matter what. That's what separates the winners from the losers. It's not that winners never feel weak. It's that they refuse to let weakness define them. They refuse to let their emotions dictate their actions. They refuse to surrender to fear, doubt, or pain. And that, my friends, is what you have to do starting right now. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more letting life push you around. You take control. You decide that no matter what happens, you will not quit. You will not back down. You will not let anything stop you from becoming the strongest, toughest, most unstoppable version of yourself. This is your battle. And if you want to win, you have to fight for it every single day. Friends, we've established that your mind is the battlefield, and the choice to win or lose begins and ends there. But let's get specific. The victory isn't won with a single heroic act. It's won in the trenches, in the moment-to-moment combat against a relentless enemy. Weak thoughts. Your thoughts will either make you or break you. That's the truth. The words you say to yourself every day, that constant inner dialogue, shape the person you become. If you let weak thoughts control you, you'll live a weak life. If you fill your mind with excuses, you'll stay exactly where you are. But if you learn to eliminate those weak thoughts and replace them with power, with strength, with belief, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Most people don't even realize how much their own mind is holding them back. They wake up every day, and the first thing they do is doubt themselves. They tell themselves they're not smart enough, not strong enough, not lucky enough, and they think that's just the way life island. But that's not life, that's a mindset problem. That's a habit of allowing negativity to take over, built over years of neglect. And like any habit, it can be broken. You have to understand the fundamental principle of human psychology. Every single thought you allow into your mind is either building you up or tearing you down. There is no in between. The mind is a factory. It is constantly producing something. If you do not consciously feed it raw materials, strong, empowering thoughts, it will automatically turn the raw materials of fear, worry, and doubt into a final product of weakness and inaction. The question is, which factory are you allowing to operate in your mind? Every time you tell yourself you can't do something, you're programming your mind to believe it. It's not a harmless thought, it's a command. Every time you let fear decide for you, you're reinforcing weakness. And every time you let excuses win, you're making it easier to quit the next time. You are, in essence, becoming the master of your own self-sabotage. But here's the good news, the profound, transformative truth. Just as weak thoughts can destroy you, strong thoughts can make you unstoppable. You have the power to rewire your mind. You have the ability to replace doubt with confidence, fear with courage, and excuses with action. And once you do that, you'll start to see how much potential you've been wasting by letting weakness control you. The first step is to become aware. Jim Rohn called this standing guard at the door of your mind. Pay meticulous attention to the thoughts that run through your mind every day. How do you speak to yourself? If someone else talked to you the way you talk to yourself, would you tolerate it? If not, then why are you allowing it? If you wouldn't let someone else tell you that you're a failure, that you're not good enough, then why are you telling yourself that? You have to become a mental warrior, ready to stand guard and defend your inner fortress from the enemy within. You have to catch yourself in the act. The moment you hear that voice of doubt, you must shut it down. The moment you feel yourself making excuses, you must stop. You replace those weak thoughts with something stronger. When your mind says, I can't do this, you respond with, yes, I can and I will. When your mind says, I'm not good enough, you say, I am more than enough. When your mind says, it's too hard, you remind yourself, nothing worth having is easy. You train your mind the same way you train your body, with repetition, with discipline, every single day. Think about the strongest people in the world, the ones who never quit, the ones who succeed against all odds. Do you think they don't have moments of doubt? Of course they do. But the difference is, they don't allow those weak thoughts to stay. They don't let fear control them. They don't let excuses win. The moment a weak thought enters their mind, they push it out. They replace it with something powerful. And that's what you have to do every single day. The truth is, your mind is always listening. Whatever you feed it, it will believe. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, your mind will find proof of that. It will remind you of every failure, every mistake, every reason to give up. But if you tell yourself you are capable, that you are strong, that you will not quit, your mind will find proof of that too. It will remind you of every victory, every moment of strength, every reason to keep going. You get to decide what kind of life you live. You get to choose whether your mind is your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. But make no mistake, if you don't take control of it, it will control you. And if you allow weakness to take over, you will never reach your full potential. So, starting today, eliminate weak thoughts. No more self-doubt. No more excuses. No more letting your mind win against you. You train your mind like a warrior. You replace every weak thought with power. You wake up every day with the mindset of someone who refuses to lose. And once you do that, once you make that decision, there is nothing in this world that can break you. Friends, let's talk about a truth that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. It's the truth about pain. Pain is unavoidable. Struggle is a non-negotiable part of the human experience. At some point on your journey, you will face moments that test you, moments that push you to your absolute limit. And in those moments, you will have a choice. You can let the pain break you, or you can let it make you stronger. That choice, my friends, will define who you are. That choice will separate you from the weak, from the ones who quit, from the ones who never reach their full potential. Discipline is what stands between you and success. It is the bridge that connects where you are to where you want to be. But the truth is, most people never develop it. Most people let their emotions dictate their actions. They wait until they feel like doing something. They wait until it's convenient. And because of that, they never get anywhere. If you want to be mentally strong, you cannot rely on feelings. Feelings are a luxury you cannot afford on this battlefield. Feelings will betray you. Feelings will tell you to quit when things get hard. You have to train yourself to act regardless of how you feel. Think about it. The people who achieve the most in life are not the ones who always feel motivated. They are the ones who push through even when they don't want to. They are the ones who keep going even when it hurts. That's what separates them from everyone else. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's discipline. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, no matter how hard at island. It means getting up early when you want to sleep in. It means going to the gym when you don't feel like it. It means working on your goals when you're tired. It means sticking to your commitments even when it's uncomfortable. That is how you develop mental strength. That is how you become unstoppable. But let's be honest, it's not easy. training your mind to overcome anything is not a comfortable process. It requires you to face pain, to embrace discomfort, to push through when everything in you is telling you to stop. But here's the truth: the more you push through, the stronger you become. Every time you refuse to quit, every time you fight through the pain, you build resilience. You build the kind of strength that cannot be broken. Most people never reach their true potential because they give up too soon. They hit a wall, and instead of climbing over it, they turn around. They make excuses. They tell themselves they're not good enough, not strong enough, not capable enough. But the truth is, they never gave themselves a chance. They never pushed themselves past the pain. That's why they fail. If you want to be different, if you want to be great, you have to push past that point. You have to train yourself to keep going no matter what. You have to stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting until you feel ready, because the truth is, you will never feel ready. The only time you have is now, and what you do with it will determine everything. So the question is, how do you build the discipline to push through pain? How do you train your mind to overcome anything? It starts with small decisions. It starts with proving to yourself over and over that you are stronger than your excuses. It starts with showing up every day no matter how you feel. Because every time you do, you build a habit, you create a pattern, and that pattern will determine your future. You have to take control of your mind. You have to stop letting weakness dictate your actions. You have to stop letting fear hold you back. Because fear will always be there. Doubt will always be there. But discipline is what allows you to move forward despite those feelings. Discipline is what allows you to take action even when everything in you wants to quit. Most people never reach this level of mental toughness because they are too focused on the short term. They want results now. They want success without sacrifice. But that's not how it works. Strength is built through struggle. Success is earned through pain. And the ones who understand this, the ones who are willing to endure, they are the ones who win in the end. Look at any great athlete, any successful entrepreneur, any leader who has changed the world. They all had one thing in common: they refused to quit. They had days where they wanted to give up. They had moments where they questioned everything. But they kept going. And because they kept going, they achieved what most people never will. You can do the same. You can train your mind to be unbreakable. You can develop the discipline to push through anything. But it starts with a decision. A decision to stop making excuses. A decision to stop giving in to weakness. A decision to take control of your life once and for all. From this moment on, commit to yourself that you will not quit. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how much it hurts, you will keep going. You will train your mind every day. You will build discipline brick by brick. And in the end, you will be stronger than you ever thought possible. Pain is temporary. Weakness is a choice. Discipline is the only way forward. Choose wisely, because the moment you decide to push through, the moment you decide to keep going, that is the moment you become unstoppable. Friends, let's talk about a truth so fundamental, so unyielding, that it is the very bedrock of all mental strength. Life will test you. That's a fact. The question is not if it will happen, but when it does. Will you rise or will you break? Every single person faces challenges. Some let those challenges defeat them, becoming victims of circumstance. Others, however, use them as fuel to become stronger, sharper, and more disciplined. You have a choice: the easy path or the path that forces you to grow. And let me be clear, if you want to build true, lasting mental strength, you have to stop avoiding hardship. You have to stop running from pain. You have to stand up and embrace the challenge, because it is the only way to become the kind of person who can handle anything life throws at you. Most people crumble when life gets tough. They get emotional, they complain, they look for an escape. But listen to me, because this is the single most important lesson you will ever learn about strength. Real strength comes from leaning into difficulty, not avoiding it. The gym doesn't make you stronger if you never lift the weights. The fire doesn't forge steel if the steel never enters the flame. And life doesn't make you tougher if you avoid the struggle. You have to step into the fire and let it refine you. You have to decide that no matter what happens, you will not quit. Have you ever noticed how the most successful people have all gone through hell? Look at anyone who's truly great at what they do. They've been knocked down, humiliated, and challenged beyond belief. But what did they do? They got back up. They learned. They adjusted. They kept going when most people would have given up. That's what separates the strong from the weak. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's the ability to keep going when everything inside you is screaming to stop. When you feel pain, your mind will try to convince you to quit. It will whisper excuses. It will tell you that you're tired, that it's too hard, that you're not good enough. That voice is a liar. Do not listen to it. Push past that feeling. When you do, you'll realize that pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. Friends, if we are to win this battle for our minds, we must understand that every challenge is not just an obstacle, but a blueprint. It's an opportunity for us to design and build a stronger version of ourselves. Most people, when faced with difficulty, get lost in the chaos. They see only the problem, not the potential. But the warrior's mind does not simply react to the struggle. It becomes its architect. This isn't just about willpower. It's a system, a disciplined, methodical approach to turning every problem into a path to power. I want to give you a framework, a mental toolbox for how to approach every challenge you face. Because this is the very skill that separates a life of purpose from a life of default. Acknowledge, don't avoid. The first step is to simply acknowledge the challenge without running from it. Most people, when faced with difficulty, immediately try to minimize it, to pretend it's not there, or to find a way around it. They engage in 1,000 small acts of avoidance. They turn on the TV, they scroll their social media, they get busy with trivial tasks. But the warrior's mind does the opposite. It looks at the challenge and says, I see you. It doesn't run from the pain, it faces it. This is a profound act of courage. It's the moment you stop being a victim and start being a combatant. It's the single most important declaration of self-respect you can make. I am not afraid of my own life. This first step is the quiet decision to enter the arena, to stand your ground, and to refuse to be moved by the storm. Analyze, don't complain. The second step is the most critical. You must analyze the situation without complaining. Complaining is a poison. It keeps you focused on the problem instead of the solution. It drains your energy and makes you feel powerless. The warrior, however, doesn't waste energy on complaining. Instead of asking, why me, they ask, what is the lesson here? What is this teaching me? How can I use this to get stronger? They turn the problem into a data point. They turn the pain into a piece of information. They turn the struggle into a strategy. This is the mindset of a scientist. A scientist doesn't see a failed experiment as a defeat. They see it as a data point. They learn from it. They adjust their hypothesis, and they try again. They are not afraid to be wrong, because being wrong is a vital step on the path to being right. You must embrace this mindset. You must become a relentless student of your own struggles. Every challenge is a classroom. Every setback is a lesson plan. The only way to graduate is to analyze it, learn from it, and apply that wisdom to your next battle. Act, don't freeze. The third and final step is to take action, even if it's a small, imperfect, and scary step. The brain, under pressure, wants to freeze. It wants to go into a state of paralysis, waiting for the perfect solution to appear. But the warrior knows that in a high-stakes situation, there is no perfect solution. There is only a series of moves. The warrior understands that momentum is everything. They know that a flawed action is always better than no action at all. They know that once they take that first step, the next one becomes clearer, and the one after that becomes easier. They don't wait for motivation to strike. They create it through action. This is the ultimate test of mental strength. It's the moment you stop being a dreamer and start being a doer. It's the moment you prove to yourself that your philosophy isn't just theory, it's a living, breathing force. The architect doesn't wait for a perfect moment to lay a brick. They lay a brick every single day. And for the next 30 days, that is exactly what you are going to do. You are going to lay bricks. You are going to take massive action, and you are going to build a life that is a monument to your unwavering commitment. I want you to think about this in a new light, a profound light. Your life is not just a series of events, it is a story. The greatest heroes in all of history, the ones we remember and admire, from leaders who shaped nations to artists who moved the human soul, are not the ones whose lives were easy. They are the ones who faced impossible odds. They are the ones who were knocked down time and time again, but always, always found a way to get back up. Their story is a testament not to a lack of problems, but to an abundance of courage. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question that goes to the very core of your being. What kind of story do you want to tell? Do you want to tell a story of comfort, of a life spent in the quiet safety of your comfort zone? A story of a person who had great potential but chose to play it small, who stayed where it was easy and avoided all risk? Or do you want to tell a story of courage, of a life lived on your own terms, of a life where you faced every challenge and came out stronger on the other side? A story of a person who was knocked down but who found a way to rise, who was tested but who found a way to endure. The choice, my friends, is yours. Every struggle you embrace, every hardship you endure, every challenge you conquer, these are not just moments in time. These are the chapters of your great story. These are the scenes that will one day inspire others. Mental strength is not about feeling strong all the time. It's about what you do when you feel weak. It's about making the right choice even when you don't feel like it. It's about controlling your emotions, staying disciplined, and pushing forward no matter what. That's what separates those who win from those who lose. And the good news is, you can train this. You can develop this level of toughness if you're willing to put in the work. Start by facing your fears. Stop avoiding the things that make you uncomfortable. Challenge yourself daily. Push yourself beyond what feels easy. Learn to become comfortable with discomfort. The more you do this, the stronger you'll become, and before you know it, you'll be the kind of person who can handle anything. You won't be shaken by problems. You won't be controlled by emotions. You'll be unstoppable. But it starts with a choice. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to rise to the challenge? The moment you decide to push through, the moment you decide to keep going, that is the moment you become unconquerable. That is the moment your story truly begins. Friends, let's talk about the master's ultimate skill, controlling your emotions. Control your emotions or they will control you. That's the truth. That's the battle every person must fight. Life is full of challenges, disappointments, and setbacks, things that will test you, shake you, and try to break you. And in those moments, your emotions will surge. You'll feel anger, frustration, sadness, and fear. But here's the thing, the strongest people in the world are not the ones who never feel these emotions. No, the strongest people are the ones who refuse to let their emotions dictate their actions. They master themselves, and that mastery gives them control over their lives. Look around. How many people do you see losing their tempers over small things? How many let fear stop them from chasing opportunities? How many people let sadness keep them in the same place for years? It's not the world that holds people back, it's their inability to control themselves. The difference between someone who succeeds and someone who stays stuck is simple. Discipline over emotions. The first thing you have to realize is that emotions are not facts. Just because you feel something doesn't mean it's true. Fear makes you think you're not good enough, but that's a lie. Anger makes you believe you need to react immediately, but that's a trap. Sadness tells you nothing will change, but that's not reality. If you allow emotions to be your guide, they will mislead you every single time. But when you step back and think before you react, when you take control instead of letting emotions control you, you gain real power. You make decisions based on logic, not impulse. And that is the key to strength. It's not about suppressing emotions, it's about managing them. It's about recognizing what you feel, understanding why you feel it, and deciding how to respond in a way that benefits you. Emotion versus logic. Friends, let's talk about the two paths that lie before you in every moment of pressure, every moment of chaos, every moment of uncertainty. There is the path of reaction, and there is the path of response. These are not just two words. They are two fundamentally different ways of living. And the path you choose will determine the entire course of your life. Most people I have observed live their lives on the path of reaction. A reaction is the path of a prisoner. It is a purely emotional, impulsive, and hot-blooded eruption of anger or frustration. It is driven by the primal part of your brain that wants to fight or flee, to lash out, to defend its ego at all costs. A reaction is instinctual. It's a knee-jerk reflex to a stimulus. It's the immediate, unfiltered shout back, the angry email sent in the heat of the moment, the reckless decision made when your pride is wounded. And listen closely to this. A reaction is almost always regretted the moment it leaves your lips. It burns bridges, it damages relationships, and it leaves you feeling exhausted and out of control. It's the path of least resistance, but it leads to a destination of constant chaos and profound regret. But the path of the master is the path of response. A response is the path of a king. It is logical, intentional, and driven by your values. It's not about what you feel in the moment, but about who you want to be in the long run. A response is a calculated, deliberate move that serves your long-term goals, not your temporary satisfaction. When you respond, you don't fight fire with fire. You pause, you breathe, you create that sacred gap between stimulus and action. In that gap, you ask yourself a critical question: will this action serve my purpose? Will this align with my values? Or am I just giving away my power? A response is a move that protects your dignity, preserves your peace, and keeps you focused on what truly matters. It's the quiet confidence of a person who knows their own worth and doesn't need to prove it in every petty argument. The world is full of people who are slaves to their reactions. Their lives are a constant, chaotic pinball game, bouncing from one emotional outburst to the next. But you have a choice. You can choose to be the kind of person who is a master of their own emotions, the kind of person who builds a life of purpose and peace, not a life of chaos and regret. The choice is yours. Will you walk the path of reaction, or will you choose the path of response? The warrior's training, disciplining your emotions. Friends, if the master skill is to control their emotions, then the question becomes, how do you train for it? How do you build this unconquerable mind? This isn't a passive process. This is the warrior's training. And you, my friend, are the warrior. Your mind, when left untrained, is like a wild horse. It will run in any direction it pleases, pulled by fear, anger, or fleeting desires. The goal of this training is not to kill the horse, but to become its master, to learn its language, to understand its power, and to guide it with a steady hand. The way you develop this strength is through practice. Every single day you will be tested. Life will present you with 1,000 small moments designed to push your buttons. Someone will say something that irritates you, something will go wrong, you will feel discouraged, frustrated, or a wave of doubt. And in those moments you have a choice to react or to respond, a choice to give in or to take control. Your training begins with a simple, repeatable ritual, the strategic pause. When you feel anger rising, take a deep breath. Give yourself 5 seconds before you react. This isn't about counting to 5 to forget what happened. It's about creating that crucial gap between stimulus and response. In that 5-second gap, your logical mind has a chance to catch up with your emotional mind. It has a chance to ask, is this reaction serving my long-term goal? It has a chance to remind you of who you are and who you want to become. Think of it like a martial artist. They don't just learn 1,000 moves. They learn to slow down, to anticipate, to find the weakness in their opponent. The strategic pause is your first move. It is the moment you regain control of the battle before it ever begins. Your training continues with a new conversation around your feelings. When fear whispers in your ear, don't try to silence it, acknowledge it. Thank it for trying to keep you safe, but then remind yourself that fear is just a feeling, not reality. When you feel like giving up, push forward for just one more step, just one. That one step isn't about the destination, it's about the declaration. It's about showing yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. Every time you take control, you become stronger. Every time you choose discipline over emotion, you become the kind of person who cannot be shaken by life's challenges. People will test you. Life will test you. But you are not weak. You are not someone who breaks under pressure. You are someone who stands strong, who stays focused, who moves forward no matter what. You are in control of your mind, and because of that, you are in control of your destiny. Decide today to master yourself. Decide today to build the kind of mind that nothing can break, because once you do that, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can stop you. A new conversation with your feelings. Friends, I want you to reconsider your relationship with your emotions. Many people believe the goal of emotional mastery is to become a stoic, unfeeling machine. That is a misunderstanding of what we are doing here. The goal is not to eliminate your emotions. Your emotions are a vital part of what makes you human. They are a feedback system, a set of signals from your body about the world around you. The problem is not the signals themselves. The problem is when you let the signals become the commander. Think of it this way. Your emotions are like the instruments on a ship. The compass shows you the direction of the wind. The barometer shows you the coming storm. The captain of the ship, your conscious, logical mind, uses this information to make a decision. A good captain doesn't panic when the barometer drops. They use that information to adjust the sails, to prepare the crew, and to set a new course. A bad captain, on the other hand, sees the storm and immediately starts screaming, letting the fear and panic take over. They make rash decisions based on the immediate feeling of danger, and they shipwreck their own vessel. You are the captain of your ship. Your emotions are your instruments. So, when you feel fear, don't run from it. Acknowledge it. Ask yourself, what is this fear trying to tell me? Is it a real danger, or is it a fear of the unknown? When you feel anger, don't lash out. Acknowledge it. Ask yourself, what is the source of this anger? What boundary was crossed? What can I do to address the root of this problem? This is emotional intelligence. This is the difference between being a slave to your emotions and using them as a tool for intentional, purposeful action. The discipline to master your emotions is not about being a robot. It is about being a warrior. A warrior knows that in the heat of battle, panic is a death sentence. A warrior knows that in the face of fear, a steady hand and a clear mind are the only path to victory. You are a warrior in the battle for your life. And the only way to win is to master yourself first. The unconquerable mind, your ultimate victory. People will test you. Life will test you. They will try to push your buttons to make you angry, to fill you with doubt. But you are not weak. You are not someone who breaks under pressure. You are someone who stands strong, who stays focused, who moves forward no matter what. You are in control of your mind, and because of that, you are in control of your destiny. Decide today to master yourself. Decide today to build the kind of mind that nothing can break, because once you do that, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can stop you. This is your journey. This is your life. And the power to become who you were meant to be is not out there somewhere. It is right here, in your ability to master the single most powerful force in the universe, yourself. Friends, let's talk about the single most powerful principle you will ever encounter. A principle that separates the truly great from the mediocre. I am talking about the art of taking full responsibility. The moment you blame someone else, the moment you start pointing fingers at your circumstances, at the economy, at your past, you give away all your power. You tell the world, I am not in control of my own life. And that, my friends, is the biggest mistake you can ever make. If you want to be mentally strong, you must take full responsibility for everything in your life. No excuses, no complaints, no blaming, just ownership. People love to complain. They complain about their job, their boss, their family, their childhood, the economy, the government. But what does complaining do? Nothing. It changes nothing. It fixes nothing. It only keeps you stuck. You think successful people sit around complaining about how hard life is? No. They take action. They take control. They focus on what they can change instead of wasting energy on what they can't. Every time you complain, you reinforce weakness. You train your mind to see problems instead of solutions. And if all you focus on are problems, guess what? You'll always have more problems. But if you focus on solutions, you start seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. That's the difference between people who succeed and people who fail. One group takes responsibility, the other group makes excuses. Maybe you didn't have the best start in life. Maybe you grew up in a tough environment. Maybe people doubted you, underestimated you, disrespected you. That's reality. But here's the truth. Life doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about what happened to you. It only cares about what you're going to do about it. And if you sit around complaining, waiting for someone to fix your problems, you'll be waiting forever. The strongest people in the world are the ones who refuse to be victims. They refuse to let circumstances define them. They refuse to let hardships break them. Instead of saying, "Why me?" they say, "What can I do about it?" That's the mindset you need if you want to win in life. Stop looking for someone to blame. You are your own savior. You are responsible for your own life. And the moment you truly accept that, everything changes. Now, let's talk about how you put this into practice. How do you transition from the language of a victim to the language of a warrior? 1. Acknowledge the inward gaze. The first step is to simply acknowledge the inward gaze. The moment something goes wrong, you look inward, not outward. You stop asking, "Who is to blame?" and you start asking, "What can I do?" This is the most crucial shift in perspective you will ever make. It is a moment of profound personal power. It's the moment you stop being a passenger in the back seat and start being the captain of your own ship. You stop complaining and you start creating. 2. The reality check. The second step is to conduct a reality check. You must honestly assess your current situation without sugarcoating it. This is where you confront the hard truth about your habits, your finances, your health. You don't make excuses for the past, you simply acknowledge the present. This doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you are a strong person. You are brave enough to face the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. This honesty is the foundation upon which all real growth is built. 3. The action plan. The third and final step is to create a clear action plan. Responsibility isn't just an internal state, it must lead to action. You don't just acknowledge the problem, you design a solution. The moment you fully accept responsibility, you take back control. And when you have control, you have power. But as long as you blame, you remain powerless. Some people don't want to hear this. They want to believe that life is unfair, that the odds are stacked against them, that they have no choice but to suffer. That's a lie. That's the mindset of a weak person, and you are not weak. You are strong. Friends, I want you to think about this in a new light. Your life is a legacy. The greatest leaders and figures in all of history are not the ones who never faced a problem. They are the ones who were willing to take full responsibility for their people and their vision, no matter the cost. They are the ones who, in the face of impossible odds, said, "This is on me. I will find a way." What kind of legacy do you want to leave? Do you want to leave a legacy of excuses, of a life spent complaining about what went wrong? Or do you want to leave a legacy of power, of a life lived on your own terms, of a life where you faced every challenge and came out stronger on the other side? The choice, my friends, is yours. Every time you choose responsibility over blame, action over excuse, learning over denial, you are building the foundation of a life of integrity, respect, and unwavering purpose. This doesn't mean life will be easy. It won't. It will test you. It will knock you down. It will push you to your limits. But that's the price of strength. That's the cost of success. Weak people avoid responsibility because it's hard. Strong people embrace it because they know it's the only way to grow. And growth is the only way to become the best version of yourself. So ask yourself right now, are you ready to stop complaining? Are you ready to take full responsibility? Are you ready to take control of your life? Because if you are, everything changes today. No more blaming, no more excuses. From this moment on, you own everything in your life. And that, my friend, is the first step to real power, the first step to mental toughness, the first step to becoming unstoppable. Now go out there and prove it. Friends, let's talk about the most powerful choice you will ever make in your life. It is not about your career. It is not about your finances. It is about a single, profound decision you make every single day. The power to transform your life is in the choice to protect and nurture your mind. I am talking about your mental diet. Think about it. We all understand the concept of a physical diet. We know that if we constantly feed our bodies with junk food, with sugar, with processed snacks, With empty calories, we will feel sluggish, tired, and weak. Our physical performance will suffer. Our health will deteriorate. The link is undeniable. But what most people fail to realize is that this same fundamental law applies to your mind. Your mind is no different. If you feed it with mental junk food, with negativity, with fear, with gossip, with endless, mindless entertainment, that is exactly what you are going to get. You will feel mentally sluggish, your focus will be weak, and your ability to perform at your best will diminish. The key to building mental strength isn't just about overcoming obstacles. It's about ensuring that the very foundation of your mind is strong enough to handle anything life throws at you. And that foundation is built on what you feed it. Guarding the gates, the unseen battle for your thoughts. Every single day, you are bombarded with information. Some of it is helpful, most of it is not. And too many people just accept whatever comes their way without giving it a second thought. The truth is, you must be intentional about what you allow into your mind. You must stand guard at the gates. Think of your mind as a fortress. You are the commander. At the gates, you have a sentry. And that sentry's job is to protect what is inside. Every piece of news, every social media post, every conversation is a visitor seeking entry. The sentry's job is to ask a simple, powerful question. Does this information serve me? Does it make me stronger? Does it help me move toward my goals? If the answer is no, it doesn't get in. You have to be selective. You can't afford to let just anyone or anything enter your mental space. So, for the next 30 days, I want you to become the fierce sentry of your mind. Be selective about the information you consume. If you spend your time watching shows that bring you down, listening to people who tell you what's wrong with the world, or scrolling through social media where everyone seems to be complaining, that's what your mind is absorbing, and it will reflect that reality. Instead, feed your mind with things that inspire you, that educate you, and that push you to grow. Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to podcasts that motivate you. Watch videos that inspire you to become a better version of yourself. This is the first act of building a strong mind, standing guard at the gate. The power of your environment, the air you breathe. But guarding the gate is only half the battle. Your environment, the people you surround yourself with, the air you breathe has a monumental impact on your mental diet. As Jim Rohn famously said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is not a simple saying. It is a profound law of human influence. Your mindset is not an isolated system. It is in constant, subtle dialogue with the people around you. If you are constantly around people who are negative, who complain, who make excuses, that negativity will seep into your mind, and before long, you will start to see the world through the same lens of fear and doubt. You will begin to question your own abilities, your worth, and your future. So, I challenge you to audit your circle. Are you spending time with people who lift you up, who challenge you to grow, and who remind you of your strength? Or are you surrounded by people who are draining your energy, who are stuck in the past, who are addicted to drama? This isn't about being selfish. This is about protecting the most important asset you have, your mind. Seek out mentors, coaches, and friends who encourage you to be the best version of yourself. The power of a positive influence is incredible. When you're constantly around people who believe in you, you start to believe in yourself more too. The practice of cultivation, planting the seeds. Finally, let's talk about the active part of your mental diet, cultivation. The mind won't just automatically improve. It needs to be trained just like your body. Just as you wouldn't expect to build muscle by sitting on the couch all day, you can't expect your mind to grow stronger if you're feeding it garbage. You have to actively seek out material that pushes you forward, that helps you grow. This is the daily practice of planting seeds. But cultivating your mind isn't just about what you read or watch, it's about your self-talk. The way you talk to yourself matters more than what anyone else in the world says to you. If you're constantly telling yourself you can't do something, that you're not good enough, or that things will never change, you're setting the stage for failure. Your mind is listening to every word you say, and if you're constantly reinforcing negativity, it will become a part of your identity. But the opposite is also true. If you speak to yourself with confidence, encouragement, and belief, your mind will start to internalize that. When you tell yourself, I can handle this, I am strong, I am capable, you're setting yourself up for success. You are your own coach, your own mentor, your own master. The change doesn't happen overnight. It starts with one decision to take control of what you allow into your mind, one decision to stop letting negativity define you, one decision to start feeding your mind with the things that will help you grow. And when you make that decision, everything else will start to fall into place. Your mindset will shift. Your confidence will grow. Your actions will become more powerful, and you'll begin to see just how strong you really are. So, let me ask you this. What are you feeding your mind today? If you want to be mentally strong, you have to feed it the right things, protect it fiercely, and watch your life change in ways you never thought possible. Friends, let's talk about building unshakable confidence. You've got to believe in yourself, not just because it sounds good, but because it's the foundation of everything you'll ever do. If you don't believe in yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure from the very beginning. You can't expect the world to believe in you if you don't have that unshakable belief in your own abilities. The world will only give you what you believe you deserve. So if you believe you're capable, if you believe you can achieve anything, then that's the starting point. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's a choice. It's earned through action, through experience, and through consistency. You won't wake up one day and feel like you can conquer the world without first putting in the work to prove to yourself that you can. Think about the times you've succeeded. Those moments when you felt on top of the world. That feeling wasn't because everything was perfect. It was because you stepped up, you took action, and you believed in yourself even when the odds were against you. That's what builds real confidence. But let's be clear, building unshakable confidence doesn't mean never feeling doubt or fear. The most confident people in the world still face those emotions. What sets them apart is how they handle it. They don't let those feelings stop them. They acknowledge them, face them, and move forward anyway. Confidence comes from knowing that you can navigate those challenges. It's the belief that no matter what happens, you'll find a way to figure it out. The truth is, we all have the ability to be confident. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is their willingness to face their fears head on. It's their willingness to get uncomfortable, to try new things, and to risk failure in pursuit of something greater. Confidence is not about being perfect. It's about being able to trust yourself even when things aren't going the way you planned. It's about knowing that no matter how tough things get, you've got what it takes to handle it. You have to believe in yourself more than you believe in your circumstances. Friends, I want to dive deeper into this idea of confidence because it's not a magical trait. It is a meticulously constructed fortress of belief. It is built brick by brick through a relentless commitment to action. Think about a time you tried something new. Maybe it was learning a new skill, starting a new project, or stepping into a leadership role. At first, you probably felt a wave of self-doubt. Your inner voice might have said, "Who are you to do this? You're not ready. You're not good enough. This is normal." This is the inner battle we've been talking about since the beginning of this journey. But what did you do? You took the first step anyway. You put in the effort. You pushed through the discomfort. And with each small victory, with each small step forward, your confidence grew. It wasn't an external force that made you confident. It was the undeniable proof of your own actions. You proved to yourself that you could do it. You built the foundation of belief with your own two hands. This is the central thesis of our conversation today. Confidence is not a prerequisite for action. It is a consequence of it. You don't wait to be confident before you act. You act your way into confidence. And this is where the previous chapters become so crucial. The mental strength you built by winning the battle of the mind, the discipline you cultivated by pushing through pain, the resilience you forged by embracing challenges, all of these are the raw materials for building unshakable confidence. Every time you silence a weak thought, every time you choose to push through discomfort, you are laying a brick in the foundation of your self-belief. The role of failure in building confidence. Let's talk about the one thing that kills confidence more than anything else, the fear of failure. But here's the truth. Failure is not the enemy of confidence. It is the teacher of it. Failure is a necessary part of the process. It's not the end. It's just part of the journey. And it's not just about learning from your mistakes. It's about learning to embrace them. When you fail, you're simply getting closer to the success you're seeking. Every failure gives you a lesson you wouldn't have learned otherwise. The key is to keep going, to keep learning, and to keep improving. The confident person doesn't see a mistake as a sign of their incompetence. They see it as a data point. They ask, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to get better? They understand that falling is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of a person who is brave enough to try. And with each time they fall and get back up, their confidence grows. It's the belief that no matter what happens, you have what it takes to handle it. You have to believe in yourself more than you believe in your circumstances, cultivating your inner circle and your inner narrative. You also have to be careful about who you let influence you. People will always have opinions. Some will encourage you, while others will try to bring you down. But remember, their opinions don't define you. You get to decide who you listen to and who you let into your life. If someone is constantly doubting you, questioning your abilities, or trying to hold you back, it's time to distance yourself from them. You need people around you who lift you up, who believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. Those are the people who will help you grow your confidence. And here's something else that's crucial for building unshakable confidence: taking responsibility. When you take full responsibility for your life, your actions, and your outcomes, you stop blaming external circumstances. You stop blaming other people, your past, or your environment for where you are. You accept that you are the one in control of your destiny. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond to it. And that mindset shift is powerful. When you stop playing the victim and start owning your power, your confidence skyrockets. Confidence doesn't come overnight. It's a process. It takes time, and it's going to be uncomfortable. But every time you push through that discomfort, every time you do the thing that scares you, you're building your confidence. You're proving to yourself that you can handle anything, and over time, that confidence becomes unshakable. You begin to walk through life with your head held high, knowing that no matter what happens, you've got this. You believe in yourself, you trust in your abilities, and that belief will take you further than you ever thought possible. So let me ask you this: do you believe in yourself? If the answer is no, then it's time to start. Because when you believe in yourself, there's nothing you can't do. You have everything you need to succeed within you. You just have to tap into it. You have to trust yourself, take action, and keep pushing forward. And as you do, your confidence will grow, and you'll become the person you've always wanted to be. Friends, let's talk about what separates the great from the good. It is not talent. It is not luck. It is not even just hard work. It is a relentless spirit. You cannot afford to back down. Not now, not ever. Life will throw everything it can at you, trying to knock you off course. It will challenge you, test your limits, and break you down in ways you didn't think possible. But here's the truth, a truth you must tattoo onto your soul. You were built for this. You were built to fight. You were made for this struggle. It's not about avoiding the hard times. It's about showing up when the world is trying to take you down. You have to be relentless. You have to push through, even when the odds seem impossible. Because here's the reality. The only way to lose is to quit. If you don't quit, if you keep going, no matter how hard it gets, then you can't be stopped. You've got to learn to embrace that relentless spirit, that refusal to back down, the kind of mindset that says, no matter what, I'm going to keep going. That's how you win. Not by avoiding failure, not by making sure everything is perfect, but by pushing through when it feels like the world is falling apart. You see, it's not the challenges that define you, it's how you respond to them. When life hits you, it's up to you whether you stay down or get back up. And it's those moments of getting back up that build your strength. It's the perseverance through the tough times that build your character, your resilience, and your unshakable belief in yourself. You've got to dig deep and find that relentless drive, that inner fire, and keep pushing forward no matter how hard it gets. Now, I want to talk about why most people quit. They don't quit because they're lazy or weak. They quit right before the breakthrough. They quit at the almost there moment. Imagine you are digging for gold. You've been digging for weeks, months, and all you see is rock and dirt. You are tired, your hands ache, you have no visible proof that the gold is even there. Most people, in that exact moment, will put down their shovel, say this is a waste of time, and walk away. They will never know that the gold was just inches away. This is the psychological trap of the almost there moment. The greatest pain, the greatest struggle often comes right before the greatest reward. The relentless spirit understands this. They know that when the struggle is at its peak, when the pain is at its worst, that is not a signal to quit. That is a signal to dig deeper. That is a signal to keep going because the gold is just around the corner. They know that pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. Being relentless is not just a feeling, it is a series of conscious choices and a framework for action. 1. The unshakable why. A relentless spirit is anchored by a clear purpose. This connects directly to our previous conversations. When you know why you must succeed, when your purpose is so big, so meaningful, that it's tied to your family, your community, or your legacy, then the how becomes secondary. The purpose becomes the fuel that keeps the engine running even when the tank feels empty. When you have a strong why, you don't need motivation, you have a mission. 2. The power of redefinition. The relentless mind doesn't see problems as walls. It sees them as puzzles to be solved. It redefines struggle. It doesn't say, this is impossible. It says, this is difficult, and therefore, I must become a more skillful person to overcome it. Every obstacle is not a sign of bad luck. It is a curriculum. It is a lesson plan designed by life to make you stronger, wiser, and more capable. 3. The habit of one more. I want you to introduce a new, simple, yet profoundly powerful habit into your life. The habit of one more. One more rep at the gym. One more page of your book. One more sales call. One more moment of patience with your family. This is not just a physical challenge, it is a mental one. It is about training your mind to push past its perceived limits. It is about teaching yourself that you always have more in the tank than you think you do. This small daily act of one more is how you build the relentless muscle. Friends, we have journeyed together through the rigorous path of building mental strength. We've talked about winning the battle in your mind, embracing pain, and becoming a warrior of your own destiny. But now, we must ask the single most important question of all. It is the question that gives all of these disciplines meaning. It is the question that separates mere activity from monumental achievement. You have to know why you're doing this. You have to understand the reason behind everything you're striving for, or the journey's going to feel meaningless. Purpose is the foundation of everything. It's the ultimate source of your strength. It's what keeps you moving when the days get tough. It's what drives you when you want to quit. Without purpose, you're just going through the motions. You're a ship with a powerful engine, but no destination. But when you have a clear purpose, when you know why you're doing something, suddenly it all becomes easier. It doesn't become easy, but it becomes worth it. Let me tell you something, when life gets hard, and it will get hard, there's no avoiding that. It's your purpose that's going to keep you going. It's going to pull you out of the toughest moments and push you toward greatness. Because when you know why you need to be strong, when you understand the importance of what you're doing, it doesn't matter how hard things get, you'll fight for it. You'll give everything you've got because you know it matters. There's a reason why some people seem to thrive through adversity while others give up. It's not because they're better or stronger, it's because they've connected to something bigger than themselves. They have a purpose, and that purpose gives them the fuel to keep going even when the world feels like it's falling apart. They know their why, and that's what makes all the difference. So how do you find this purpose? The search for your why is not a destination, it's a two-part journey of discovery. First, you must look inward. You have to do the quiet, courageous work of self-reflection. Think about the things in your life that are most important to you. Think about what you're willing to fight for, what you'd sacrifice for. What are you willing to do for free? What truly breaks your heart in this world? The answers to these questions are not just opinions, they are a blueprint to your soul. They are clues to your purpose. It's not just about what you want in life, it's about why you want it. What's the deeper meaning behind the goals you set? When you answer these questions, when you truly connect with your purpose, that's when the game changes. Second, you must look outward. True purpose is not just about personal fulfillment, it is about contributing to others. It's about creating value beyond your own needs. As Jim Rohn taught, the best contribution you can make to another person is your own self-development. Why? Because as you grow, as you become stronger, you gain the capacity to serve others more effectively. Your purpose becomes the vehicle through which you make a difference in the world. It's about the impact you can have, the lives you can change, and the legacy you can leave behind. When you have a purpose, everything changes. The struggles don't feel like obstacles, they feel like part of the process. Your purpose becomes a guiding star in the darkness. Purpose is a filter. When you have a clear purpose, it acts as a powerful filter for your decisions. Every choice you face, from a small daily habit to a major career move, is instantly clarified. You simply ask, does this serve my purpose? If the answer is no, the decision becomes easy. Purpose is a compass. When life feels uncertain, when the path ahead is shrouded in fog, your purpose is your compass. It gives you direction when there seems to be none. It reminds you of your destination and keeps you from wandering. Purpose is a fortress. Purpose is a fortress for your mind against the attacks of doubt and fear. When you are driven by a cause greater than yourself, the fear of failure loses its power. The fear of what others think becomes insignificant. You're no longer fighting for your ego, you're fighting for your purpose. The problem with many people is that they're working hard, but they don't know why. They're grinding away, but they're not connected to the deeper meaning behind it. They're chasing after things that don't matter in the long run. But when you know why you're working, when you know why you're building strength, when you know why you're fighting, that's when you become unstoppable. Think about your future. Think about what you want to achieve. What kind of person do you want to become? What kind of impact do you want to make? The more clearly you can define your purpose, the stronger you'll be. The more you can connect with that purpose, the more energy you'll have to face the challenges ahead. Purpose is what makes all the hard work worth it. It's what turns the struggle into something meaningful. Your purpose is bigger than just you. It's about what you can give to the world. It's about the legacy you leave behind. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much money you make or how many things you accumulate. It's about what you do with the life you've been given. When you know why you're doing something, it changes the way you look at everything. The setbacks become lessons. The failures become stepping stones. The pain becomes part of the process. So ask yourself, why are you doing this? What's your purpose? When you connect to that deeper why, that's when everything will click. That's when the struggles won't feel like obstacles, but opportunities for growth. When you're driven by purpose, you won't just go through life, you'll conquer it. You'll create a life that's not just successful on the outside, but fulfilling on the inside. And that's the real victory. Remember this, purpose isn't something you just find one day and then forget about. It's something you live with every single day. It's the reason you wake up early. It's the reason you push yourself. It's the reason you fight. Keep that purpose close to your heart, because that's the strength you need to overcome any challenge, conquer any obstacle, and achieve everything you've ever dreamed of. Friends, we've reached the end of our conversation, but in reality, this is just the beginning of yours. We have spent our time together exploring the profound, often overlooked philosophy of mental strength. We've dissected its core principles, from winning the battle in your mind to living with a clear purpose. But I want to make something perfectly clear as we close this conversation. This philosophy is not just a collection of good ideas. It is a blueprint for building an unstoppable future. I want you to think about where most people go wrong. They believe that success is a matter of luck. They wait for a lottery ticket, a lucky break, a moment of divine inspiration that will change everything overnight. But life, my friends, doesn't work that way. The future you want is not a destination you arrive at by chance. It is a structure you build brick by brick every single day. And each of those bricks is a choice. The true secret to success, the one that Jim Rohn and Napoleon Hill both understood so deeply, is this: the discipline to do the small, right things consistently is far more powerful than the talent to do one big thing sporadically. You don't build an unstoppable future in 1 year. You build it by honoring each day, by making each moment count. So, I want to challenge you. The world is full of people who listen to powerful ideas but never do anything with them. They are inspired for a day, but they return to their old habits the next. They are what I call motivational tourists. They visit the idea, but they never live there. I want to challenge you to be different. I want to challenge you to be one of the few who not only hears these words, but truly lives them. The journey of self-mastery begins not with a grand gesture, but with a single, intentional choice. Right now, in this very moment, you have a choice to make. You can either close this video and return to the noise of your old life, or you can take the first step toward a new, more powerful you. I challenge you not to change your entire life today, but to simply begin. Your future self is already thanking you. They're thanking you for the choices you made today. They're thanking you for the discipline you cultivated. They're thanking you for the person you chose to become. Let's build something extraordinary, one day, one step, 1% improvement at a time.